PBC Kids present.
Hey BBC Kids, happy Sunday. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really starting to miss my friends and the people I can't be around. Today, we're going to learn about a man from the Bible who had a sickness called leprosy. This man had to stay away from his family and friends because they were afraid that they would catch it, just like we have to stay away from our friends. The good news is that Jesus helped him, and Jesus' power can help us when we're lonely too. Now, before we get started with the lesson, let's grab the supplies you'll need for today. You're going to need your Bible. You're going to need a small clear container or water bottle with some water in it, and make sure it has a lid. If it doesn't have a lid, you can use a spoon instead, and some cooking oil. You're going to pause the video, grab your supplies, and while it's paused, I want you to take a minute and share your God sightings from this week. Remember, a God sighting is a way that you've seen God working. Thanks for sharing your God sightings. Even with all the great things that God is doing right now, there are still a lot of hard things. I wonder what's been the hardest for you. For me, the hardest thing has been not being able to be with my friends. Why don't you pause the video and share what's been hard for you? Being separated from the people we care about can make us feel lonely, but Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely. Let's learn about how Jesus' power helped a man in the Bible who felt lonely. Back in Bible times, there was a disease called leprosy. If you got it, you would have painful sores all over your body, and there was no cure. People were afraid of catching it, kind of like how today people are afraid of catching the coronavirus. Now, I know some of you know the ways that we can stay safe. For example, washing our hands or staying away from other people. And staying away from other people is called social distancing. People in the Bible knew about social distancing too. In fact, they were so scared of catching leprosy that it was against the law for someone to come into the city if they had leprosy. And if they did come into the city, they had to call out, "Unclean, unclean," so that everyone knew to stay away. Those rules must have made people feel very lonely. Today's story comes from Matthew 8, verses 1 to 3. Here's a question to talk about while you're looking up the story to follow along. How do you think it would feel to have to be at least 6 feet apart from everyone for years? Let's find out what Jesus did when he met someone with leprosy. Matthew 8, 1 through 3 says, "While Jesus walked along, a man with leprosy came to him and knelt before him, saying, 'Lord, if you will, can you make me clean?' And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, 'I will, be clean.' And immediately his leprosy was cleansed." Did you hear what Jesus did? Let me say it again for you. Jesus reached out and touched the man. Now, this man probably hadn't had a hug or a pat on the back or a high five in years, but Jesus touched him. Jesus wasn't afraid of getting leprosy. Jesus knew that his power was greater than any disease. Jesus knew that not only did this man's body need healing, but his heart needed healing too. This man needed to feel Jesus' love. He needed a loving touch to heal his loneliness. We need to be wise and protect ourselves from sickness right now, but being away from people can make us feel lonely. I want you to pause and talk about 2 questions. First question is, who do you know that might be lonely right now? And the second question is, how can you reach out to them? Those are some good ideas. We can reach out to others and remind them that Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely. He's always there to comfort us and heal our hearts. Now, the people in Jesus' time didn't want the people with leprosy to mix with anyone else. So what we're going to do with the supplies is a fun mix-it-up science activity to help us think more about that. So go ahead and grab your supplies that you got earlier. I have mine right here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the lid off of my container. And you can see it's about half full of water. I'm going to add some cooking oil to the top of it until they're about even. Maybe a little less cooking oil than water. And then I'm going to make sure that I put my lid on nice and tight. Can you guys see the difference there? You can see the oil's kind of yellow, it's at the top, and the water is clear at the bottom. So I'm going to put my lid on nice and tight. You might want to have your parents help you with this part. just to make sure it's on tight. And if you don't have a lid, remember you can use a spoon. So we're gonna take our containers with our lids on tight and we're gonna shake for 10 seconds. I'll count us down. And if you can't shake it and you're gonna stir instead, stir for 10 seconds. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go ahead and set that down on the table and pause the video, and I want you to talk about this question just for a minute. I want you to talk about what you've been missing most since you've been separated from other people. Thanks for sharing what you've been missing. Now, I want us to look at our mixture again. When we first shook it, and I know it was mixed because I saw that mine was mixed. But if I look at it now, it's back to being separated. The water's back on the bottom and the oil's back on the top. Oil and water naturally want to stay separate, but being separated isn't so natural for us. It can make us feel lonely. But we need to remember that Jesus' power can help us when we're lonely. Today we have a song called I Have a Friend in Jesus. It'll help us remember that Jesus is always there for us. Enjoy the song and have a great week.
Thanks for watching Life Tree Kids.